Today we'll be offering the first of a series of amendments that we addressed yesterday. The amendment today, as we indicated yesterday, will be on Medicare. We hope to restore $100 billion of the $256 billion that the Republicans have cut from Medicare. As you noticed yesterday, the Dow Jones went down 82 points, the biggest single decline in 6 months. We have concluded that that is a result of all the senior citizens selling their stock to pay for the Medicare insurance that they're going to be required to pay as soon as this budget passes. We are very concerned that we can't provide for more relief to those who are now relying upon Medicare than the $100 billion, but we've said all along that we want to keep on the glide path, that we want to reach the date certain. The additional cuts that are represented in the budget are cuts that can only occur in a meaningful way if we accomplish meaningful health reform. It's what the President has said all along. It's what we have said as early as 2 years ago during the health care debate, and it's one we believe in just as strongly now. We've got to have health care reform, but until that time, the things that we can do within Medicare can be done to the extent that they can be done with the redistribution of the infrastructure that we have proposed in the past. The $100 billion is to a certain extent the first step, but it's a very important and critical vote. And we hope that our Republican colleagues will think long and hard about whether to make a cut in Medicare 3 times the size of the largest cut in Medicare history in the past. It's wrong to cut that deeply without some sort of plan to address the extraordinary ramifications that this will have. It's wrong to do it without any idea of where we go once we enact a cut of this magnitude. And it's certainly wrong given the fact that the savings will be generated only for a tax cut that the Republicans have committed to themselves. We are encouraged by the decision yesterday of a number of Republicans to come forth publicly and say that they will not support a tax cut. I believe that there will be a growing number of people who will come to that conclusion. But the way to demonstrate their opposition to that tax cut is to vote for our Medicare amendment, which we will begin debating this afternoon. The vote will be cast, as you know, at 3:15 on Monday. So we'll have an opportunity today as well as on Monday to debate this issue. And I'm very hopeful that we can find the votes necessary to at least restore cuts of this kind to the Medicare program. With that, I think I'll stop and take your questions. Jamie?
Did you have breakfast with
Newt Gingrich? I did. I did. He was quite buoyant, and I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. But it was for Boys Town. We had a fundraiser this morning for Boys Town, and he's more directly associated with Boys Town than I am. But I have a great deal of interest in Boys Town as well, and I was delighted to be a co-chair with him.
Do you have any substantive exchanges or conversations?
We didn't. If you're asking, did we debate the budget? The answer is no. We were polite to one another and had an opportunity to talk about our mutual interest in Boys Town, but that was it.
Do you expect?
I don't get a chance to see him very often, so we didn't really get into many things other than that. This is the second time I've had breakfast with a member of the Gingrich family this week. I had breakfast with Marianne Gingrich, I think it was on Tuesday, so yeah, we're getting to know each other real well.
Do you expect to be able to vote for the alternative that Senator Conrad and others are working on?
I'd like to be able to vote for it. I don't know at this point the details, but I certainly would expect to be able to vote for it. I want to talk with Senator Conrad about some of the specifics prior to the time I come to any specific conclusions about it, but I applaud him and the others who are putting forth the effort. I think it's something that we should do. It's good. I encouraged him to do it. I encouraged all of them to do it as we talked over the course of the last several days, and I think it warrants the time during this debate this budget resolution to debate it thoroughly. So we'll have a good debate on it sometime next week.
Have you had any indication of when the rescissions conference report will come up?
I haven't. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes up sometime next week. Senator Dole and I are meeting today to talk about the agenda for the next few weeks, and so I'm sure that will be one of the subjects of discussion.
Might that fight have been averted if the president had the line item veto, what we call it?
I don't know. I think it probably could have, but I must say it could have been averted completely if the conferees would have simply accepted what we said was our bottom line. That package that we worked so long and hard to put together represented a good faith effort on the part of Democrats and Republicans to do what we all wanted to do, which was to rescind $16+ billion over the course of this fiscal year, but protect children, protect education, protect the services that they count on. And so I'm not surprised at all with the President's decision. I remember so clearly during those discussions the President saying personally to many of those who were directly involved in negotiations, we can accept this, but if it falls short, expect a veto. And so the message was as clear as could be as early as a month ago. I applaud the President's effort. I hope we can go back to the drawing board. We need to go back. There are very important issues that have to be addressed that will not be addressed if we don't go back soon. I can't believe that we can't find the time to do something this important. There are too many people whose lives and livelihoods depend upon what we do in this regard, and I'm not as pessimistic as people in the House who have expressed little interest or ability to get together again.
This morning's vote on the President's budget, is it a sign of respect or disrespect?
Well, I think it's the right of spring. It's as predictable to have a vote on the President's budget as a thunderstorm in May. I don't know that it's anything other than another political game that both sides play, and we have to get over it. We have to get through it. We're all going to vote against it because we believe that it's nothing more than a political charade. We're not going to play that kind of political game, and as a result, we intend to vote against it with the understanding that it wasn't serious. It isn't offered as a resolution to be debated. If it were offered and considered carefully in the Budget Committee, it would be one thing. But without any consideration, without any debate, we have the budget before us. Well, we're going to vote against it because the real resolution is the one that's pending, and that's the one we intend to amend, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about that.
Do you think your constituents will understand that vote that way?
Well, I intend to explain it to my constituents and hope that they do. Obviously, if you look through the last couple of decades, Elizabeth, I can recall President Reagan getting one vote for one of his budgets, and I'm not sure that many other presidents got much more than that over the many years that the Republicans were in the White House. But our message is loud and clear. We want to be serious about a budget resolution that we can agree upon, Democrats and Republicans. This is not serious, not to offer an entire resolution with a couple of hours of debate and expect anyone to vote for it based on that kind of procedure. It's wrong, and I don't think we ought to play that kind of political gamesmanship.
Ever since the budget committees have come out with their two proposals, we haven't heard reports of that much hue and cry from the general public. I'm wondering why you think that is, and is your party going to be try to do anything in the next several days besides just debating on the Senate floor? Do you have any ads planned or special activities over the weekend to get the public more involved?
Well, we've been very pleased that many of the senior groups have been involved as much as they have been. The Hospital Association and many other groups who are beginning to understand the implications of this have come out very aggressively. I think it's simply the first installment of a process that will involve more and more people as we go through the summer months. Wait until we get to reconciliation. Wait until we get to the hard cuts that are going to have to be made as a result of this, and wait until people find out that those cuts are made in large measure to pay for a tax cut for the wealthy. I'm absolutely convinced once that's understood, you're going to see hue and cry, the likes of which we haven't seen for a long time. And I think that's really it. Americans expect fairness, and they expect us to get the job done, and they're, I think, going to be very displeased when they find out how this is going to affect them just so the Republicans continue to play deja voodoo economics. It's not going to work. It didn't work in the 80s. It's not going to work now. And when that's fully realized, I think you are going to see the reaction that you just questioned.
to the fiscal dividend, don't you think that you'd be more likely to gain those 7 Republicans' votes with an amendment that earmarked that money not for spending cut reductions, but rather for further deficit reduction? And 2, do you therefore intend to offer one that would do
Yes. We will be offering further deficit reduction amendments as well, taking the tax